you can see the flames coming out that warehouse.
The fire took off pretty quickly, and then one of the gas tanks exploded, and you saw like liquid fire spread.
Now with 4 breaking news: explosions, fireballs, and evacuations as a huge fire destroys a warehouse.
Take a live look right now from Air 11. You can see the fire has been put out, but it's still smoldering. Firefighters are still on the scene there. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Lisa Hernandez.
What a day it has been. I'm Lynn Cannon. Investigators now sifting through the rubble to figure out what started this inferno.
170 firefighters battled that fire for more than 2 hours today. It broke out on Laverne Street near Spring Branch Drive around 10 o'clock this morning. Smoke billowed into the air and could be seen for miles.
One of the businesses that burned, A1 Custom Packaging and Filling. There was a shelter in place for nearby residents, but it has since been lifted. Here is the good news. No one was hurt.
We have team coverage on the story. Tim Wetzel's at a home near the warehouse where witnesses say that fire started. Stephanie Whitfield is at the Coliseum where school children were kept safe today. But we start with Lauren Tossenson live at the warehouse with the latest on that investigation. Lauren.
Good afternoon, guys. Neighbors say that this fire started in the back of a house, but things escalated quickly when that fire spread to a nearby warehouse that was full of very dangerous and flammable chemicals. The smoke could be seen from miles away. But David Nagy was watching it all just feet from the flames.
Somebody in the house?
Nagy owns a business across the street and says the blaze started as a house fire, but he thinks a barrel of gasoline at the home caught on fire and spread the flames to the warehouse next door.
You saw like liquid fire spread, and it spread to the warehouse behind, and that's a chemical company. And once it did that, it just took off. Within 15 minutes, it was an inferno. And they have these drums of chemicals stacked like 4, 5, 6 high. And they started exploding, going 200-300 feet in the air.
And that wasn't the only dangerous substance the fire came into contact with today. The fire eventually spread to a gun store stocked with ammunition.
You could hear rounds just.
The combination of flames, bullets, and hazardous materials made this fire a complicated one to fight, especially because firefighters weren't aware of what chemicals they were dealing with. All they knew is that they were likely petroleum-based solvents.
Well, anytime you have a fire that, like this one, that is petroleum-based, that's solvent, you have the potential for rekindle. You put it out and it just comes right back.
And that's what happened for hours until crews were finally able to put the fire out for good. We were able to get an update from the Houston Fire Department, who says they now know what those chemicals were inside that building. It's a combination of fuel additives and pesticides, and now that is running off in some of the water nearby, so they are telling residents to be careful.
Now, Lauren, we have seen pictures of water runoff there that has kind of a red tint to it. Are officials commenting on that at all?
Yeah, so that is part of the fuel additive that they found inside this building. They said that they want people to be aware of the Spring Branch Creek area and nearby ditches and culverts. All of that should be avoided until they're able to test the water and make sure that it is safe for people to be around. But for now, just stay back from all that water. The red color is actually from the chemicals that they found inside this building.
Okay, good information to have, and luckily no one hurt out of that massive inferno earlier today. Lauren Tossenson live for us. Thank you.
And here's what we know about the company that burned, A1 Custom Packaging and Filling.
It's a chemical contract packager. They are responsible for filling containers with powders, liquids, gels even. According to their website, they've been in business for more than 20 years.
While the exact cause of the fire is still under investigation, witnesses say the fire started near a shed at this house that we showed you earlier. There's really something. Tim Wetzel live on Laverne Street. And what are the neighbors saying about it, Tim?
Well, neighbors say they heard a loud explosion, then came out to see flames just billowing hundreds of feet into the air. I want to show you what's going on behind me right here. This is a shed or a small auto repair business. Arson investigators have been spending a lot of time going through that because they believe the fire started inside that shed or nearby, and they're trying to figure out what may have sparked this blaze. A next door neighbor says he heard a loud popping noise here, then seconds later, flames appeared to engulf the warehouse.
At first, it was just like, a small fire, and it spread like that. But when there was barrels that started flying out of there, like oil barrels.
It appears that it did start in it appears to be some type of auto shop back there, and all indications are that that's where the largest volume of fire was upon our arrival. So that's where we're going to start investigating the fire.
Now, according to the firefighters, the man who owns the home and the repair shop in the back was not home at the time of the fire. We did attempt to talk to him, but he was pretty adamant that he did not want to speak with us. But he will certainly have to speak to arson investigators as they try to piece together exactly what happened here. We're live in the Spring Branch area. Tim Wetzel, KHOU 11 News.
Thank you, Tim. Spring Branch Elementary School is just a few blocks away from the fire, and it's the first time the school has had to use its evacuation protocol. Hundreds of students and teachers were bused to the Don Coleman Coliseum, that's on Derry Ashford. Our Stephanie Whitfield's been talking to parents there who are picking up their kids. And Stephanie, what a day they have had.
Yes, parents told us they're relieved everyone's okay. And as for the kids, some said today was scary, but others said they were just excited to take an unplanned field trip today. So let me explain how all this went down. Earlier, when the fire first broke out, Spring Branch Elementary was placed on lockdown. When the fire got bigger, the school district eventually decided to evacuate 650 students to a safer location here at Don Coleman Coliseum. Parents were notified and told to come here to get their kids, and there's been a steady stream of parents showing up here ever since. Here's what a mom and the school district spokesperson told me this afternoon.
We just worry about our kids, safety, and we're happy that they're fine.
This is the first time we've ever piloted or had this process occur here in Spring Branch. So far it's moving very successfully. We've had more than 100 students and parents matched.
That number has risen to over 500 now, and there are still 41 students who need to be picked up, and parents can come get them here at the Coliseum until about 4:30. Then we're told the remaining children will be put on buses and taken home. As for the rest of the school district, we just found out that all Spring Branch Middle School practices and games have been canceled for the afternoon, but all schools in the school district here in Spring Branch will be back on a normal schedule tomorrow morning. Reporting live in West Houston, Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
Glad to hear that, Stephanie. Thank you. We're staying on top of this developing story. Coming up, we'll have more on the investigation into what sparked this massive blaze. You can also get updates on our KHOU social media pages, Twitter, Facebook, at KHOU.com, and on the KHOU 11 mobile app.